This time on Little Boat Adventures, we head out for some of our last sailing of 2020, encounter some rough water at Portaferry, and make some rookie mistakes when trying to dock. Well, it's the 10th of October and this is shaping up to be our last sail of the season. So me and Kelly are on the boat today. We're going to take a sail down to a little town at the bottom of Strangford Loch called Portaferry. We're hopefully going to spend the night at marina there and have a sail back up tomorrow at some point. And like I say, that will be the last of the sailing for this season, with the boat scheduled to be hauled out next Sunday, which I think is the 18th of October. So it's been a bit of a short season and we haven't done as much sailing as we would have liked to, but you know, that's just with the crazy stuff that's going on in the world. It couldn't be helped, but we'll just have to make do with what we got. So we'll just get the boat ready and we'll start making way down the loch. We've got a north-northeast wind and we are heading south, so the winds are good. They're kind of sitting around 11 to 15 knots at the minute, but we're kind of sheltered from the direction the wind will be going, so expect it to be a bit stronger when we head out onto the loch. And we're on a flooding tide, so we'll have a bit of wind against tide, so it might be a wee bit lumpy when we get out there, but we'll see how it goes. We'll start off with maybe putting one reef in the mainsail, and if it's not needed we'll shake that out once we get underway. So that's us. We'll get the boat ready to go. So this is where we're going to be starting off, and the wind is coming from the north but backing to northeast later in the afternoon. So we're just going to motor out into the main channel of the loch and we'll have the sails up and sail down the loch. And like I say, the wind will be coming from the north-northeast, but we are on a flooding tide the whole way down. That doesn't change to 7 o'clock at night, but we hope to be in Portaferry by 5 or so. So it shouldn't be too bad until we get to this section here, which is called the Narrows. And Portaferry is just located here, Portaferry Marina. So because there's a narrow stretch here, the tidal stream can be quite fast. Now we're on a neap tide, so it's not going to be so bad, but on a spring tide these the tidal race here can reach up to 7.5 knots, so it would be virtually impossible for us to get down there. But we're going today because, like I say, it's a neap tide. So once we get down to the bottom of the main body of the loch there, we'll just turn in, and we expect some turbulent water here because it will be a bit faster coming through the Narrows, and with wind against tide it's going to get a bit choppy around here, we would assume. The weather and stuff's nice and the weather forecast isn't to be too bad, so hopefully it'll be a nice enough sail for us. So we've just dropped our mooring line off the swinging pontoon, sorry, the swinging mooring, and we're heading out through the little narrow that takes us into where the sailing club is. You can see the water's a bit turbulent there. Kellie's enjoying a morning coffee.
Coffee first.
Well, say morning coffee, it's actually what? After 2. That's morning to me because I've just woke up after night shift. But the weather's looking nice. If it just stays like this most of the day, we'll be happy. So once we get out of our little bay, we headed out into Strangford Loch. Kellie took the helm, which allowed me to move forward and raise the mainsail. So I know we're still newbie sailors, but what I should have done at this point was to have Kellie bear away off the wind, so the wind would have filled the mainsail, pushing it to either port or starboard, and then came back down the boat on the high side, which would have meant that the boom wasn't flapping about and become a potential hazard as I was trying to make my way back to the cockpit. After getting safely back into the cockpit, Kellie made this comment about the boom bouncing all over the place.
You might need to wear a helmet from now on.
So at this point we only had the mainsail up and we were still running with the engine idling. And the reason for that was the sailing club next to ours were having a regatta, so we were about to pass a lot of boats that were racing. So we just wanted to be careful and keep the engine running in case we needed it to avoid some of the boats in the regatta. So we got the mainsail up and we have one reef in because the wind's being a bit bipolar. It's going from around 7 knots up to 18. Expected to get a wee bit stronger once we get away from these little islands and into the open here. But we'll put a bit of head sail out. So having cleared the obstacles, that was the boats from the regatta, we turned the engine off and we're sailing along on a beam reach to a broad reach with a reefed mainsail. So it was pleasant sailing and we decided to put our head sail out and carry on east until we avoided the little islands. Then we would turn to starboard and head south down towards Portaferry. Down mine, so watch it still jive. sail, one reef in the mainsail and the head sail out, and 14 knots of wind speed. Nice.
Nice. Need to get rid of that big thing. The cloud. More blue skies.
Put on a jibe. Remember jibe? So as the wind picked up, we were making good way through the water. It was a really lovely sail. We were making nice speed and the weather wasn't too bad. We were coming up to the point where we had to turn to starboard, and that meant we were going to have to put in a jibe. We didn't film it, but I wish I had have, because it was a really nice controlled jibe, and as two newbie sailors it went perfect. So the winds were picking up a bit and we reefed the head sail. So we have a reefed head sail and a reefed mainsail, and we were still doing around 4 to 5 knots. But the boat's a lot more balanced. Like I say, the wind has been a bit unpredictable, going from kind of 10 knots up to almost 20. So unfortunately the sun has disappeared. I would say rain is imminent.
No, no rain.
Kellie's in denial. But a good day sailing. So as we got closer to the bottom of the loch, just before we turned into the Narrows, we decided to drop the mainsail, and there was a couple of reasons for that. We were about to enter this area where we expected to meet some rough water, where the strong current had an opposing wind. So we didn't want to be battling with the mainsail just when we got to that area before we get into the marina. Also, turning into the Narrows would have meant that we were almost dead downwind, so we didn't want to be doing accidental jibes with the boat being thrown about with the rough water. So we thought we'd be cautious, drop the mainsail early and just use the head sail to get us into the Narrows, and then it would have been easier just to start the engine and pull in the head sail before we entered the marina.
All good? lovely sight.
I think the waves are though. White horses all around. Really rolling.
So we've been in the North Atlantic now for how many days?
16 days. I know. We're excited about Kellie for a tasty treat.
Oh no, the hobnobs are falling on the floor. Is that not one of the things that is like bad to do at sea? Did you not tell me you're not allowed to whistle?
Don't whistle.
What other superstitious?
I was never superstitious until this past year on a boat.
And you're wearing green.
It's the boat, it's the shore.
If anybody else has any superstitions, they can let us know. Haven't seen any black cats today.
No black cats. That's not really a scene. I think the biggest one is females on the boat.
You didn't tell me that.
No, that used to be the...
Or were the unlucky ones, are we?
Yeah. You know, it was really unlucky to have a woman on the boat.
But then you have like loads of like old boats that used to have like ladies on the front of them, did they not? Is that just in the films? Oh dear.
Okay, so this is a lesson on how not to dock. We came in a little bit fast here, faster than we wanted to, and because of that I put the boat in reverse, but I put it in reverse a little harder than I wanted to. And the Alban Vega has a strong prop walk to the port side, so when I put it into reverse you can see the back end of the boat there drifting out away from the pontoon. So luckily enough Kellie got back quick enough to grab the stern line before any damage was done and put us back in to the pontoon, and that was us safely tied up in Portaferry. Not the prettiest of docking, but successful in that we didn't hit the boat and didn't hit any other boats around us. So with the boat safely tied up, we headed out to check out Portaferry. The Portaferry hotel is just adjacent to the Portaferry marina, so we stopped off here for some food and drinks.
Those tables are reserved, so I don't... Cheers.
Cheers. Nice. Join us next time on Little Boat Adventures when we explore Portaferry, sail home on our last sail of the season, and haul the boat out for winter. Thanks again for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. For other ways to support our channel and the production of these videos, there are some links in the description below.